E3 2017 has now come and gone, and although I wouldn't say this year's E3 has been the strongest compared to the last few years, it still brought a fantastic amount of footage and new games for us to wait in anticipation for. The games in this video aren't necessarily better than some of the other games we saw at E3. There were way too many games to condense into one video, but these are 10 I definitely think are worth showing and talking about. I try to include games that aren't absolutely years away from release, and also games we have actual gameplay footage of. To start is a game EA closed their conference with, and Bioware's newest game. You'll be forgiven for seeing similarities with Destiny, but the game does have some interesting unique differences that really differentiate it in the form of javelins, exosuits you'll use extensively throughout the game that are fully customizable and can vary pretty greatly in types, as seen in the gameplay. The demo we saw was running on the new Xbox One X and looked graphically pretty amazing. Time will tell if the final product is as good as the initial reveal, considering it still looks like it's in the relatively early stages, but it certainly looks promising so far. A Shadow of Colossus remake was a complete surprise at this year's E3, but a very welcomed one. The original released in 2005 and received a remaster with Eco in 2011, but is now receiving a complete remake from the ground up by Bluepoint Games, who are well known for their great work on remastering various games, most recently Gravity Rush Remastered. It's already stated there'll be a new alternate control method you can use, but it's possible the game could introduce brand new content not seen in the originals, such as Colossus that were intended for the 2005 version but never made it to the final build. Either way, I cannot wait to dive back into Shadow of the Colossus, prettier than ever. Next is Dragonball Fighters Z, one of the most promising DBZ games in a long time. Created by Arc System Works, the same guys known for stellar fighting games like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, is a 2.5D Dragon Ball game that aims to not only really capture the art style and animation of the show, but also be extremely competitive, and so far from the footage it looks absolutely amazing. At times it's easy to forget you're looking at a video game. Apparently the game is only 20% complete at this point with a 2018 release date, but no doubt we'll see more of the game as time goes on, and I haven't been so excited for a DBZ game since the Budokai series. Releasing on the 27th of October is Nintendo's biggest game for the Switch this year, a new core 3D Mario game that we really haven't had since Galaxy 2. We already knew that Mario Odyssey would see Mario travel to various different looking worlds, but we got a lot more information about Mario's new hat and exactly how the mechanic works, giving Mario the ability to hijack enemies or even objects, which introduces a number of different gameplay elements that you can experiment with. So far Odyssey is shaping up well, really well in fact, and no doubt will ship a ton of Switches come release. A Way Out is a game by the same developers of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and is unique because it's a co-op only game with no single player and can be played locally or online. You play as Leo or Vincent, convicted criminals, as they attempt to break out of prison, and it'll take you and your partner to cooperate to escape. In the trailer it showed there will be moments when your partner may be in a cutscene whilst you are still in full control of your character and completing a task. Additionally, there will be dialogue options which will affect the story's outcome. I'm really interested to see where this game goes because of its emphasis on split screen co-op, and hope it succeeds. Last year we saw a small cinematic trailer for Insomniac's new SpiderMan game, but we finally got 9 minutes of full gameplay as the closing of Sony's conference, and it didn't disappoint. The game looked fantastic, showing great physics-based web slinging, Batman Arkham-like combat, and some awesome set pieces. Insomniac have stated the world is around 6 times bigger than Sunset Overdrive's, meaning there'll be plenty to explore. The new footage also gave us a look at one of the villains that will feature in the game, Mr. Negative, although he's apparently not the main villain of the game. Provided the QuickTime events sections aren't overdone, this could be one of, if not the best game of 2018. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom wasn't shown at Sony's conference, but actually during its pre-show. The game received a new trailer and also a confirmed release date of November this year. Studio Ghibli may not be involved in the sequel, but that hasn't stopped the game from looking just as good as the first, if not better. Interestingly, the sequel changes up the battling a fair amount. Instead of the Pokemon-esque battles with familiars, characters will now fight themselves in real-time combat with different weapons and magic. If you played the first game, you know the sequel is likely going to be a great game that should satisfy that JRPG itch after Persona 5. The game will also have an online component, although it's not clear in exactly what way yet. The last time we saw the latest God of War was E3 2016, and Sony's conference gave us another look at Kratos, as well as his newly introduced son as they go through Norse mythology. Rather than straight gameplay of a level like last year, we got more of a trailer that showed off various moments during the game, showing new environments, new enemies, and also a new weapon in the form of a retractable shield. I'm very excited about the new direction God of War is moving in after the series was beginning to get repetitive, and seeing a more human side to Kratos is a welcome personality change that will hopefully pay off. Just like God of War, Days Gone was introduced at Sony's E3 conference last year, with the emphasis on showing how many zombies you could be potentially fighting at once on screen. This time we got another look at the game with some motorbike riding, as well as some stealth elements. There's no doubt Days Gone has its similarities to The Last of Us, which if you're going to be compared to any game, The Last of Us certainly isn't a bad game to be compared to. We also got an alternate path demo on the E3 show floor, showing that you can tackle an area in a completely different way with different results. The game is no doubt going to be one of Sony's biggest games next year, and definitely one to keep an eye out for. Lastly, we have Sea of Thieves that has been in development for a while now under Rare, and is one of Microsoft's next biggest games for the Xbox, and one of the flagship games to show off 4K for the Xbox One X. Sea of Thieves is an action-adventure multiplayer game allowing you to team up with friends and live the typical pirate life, hunt for treasure, and go head-to-head in ship combat with other people you bump into in the world. The game has the iconic Rare art style and music we all know and love, and fingers crossed will be a game we can compare to Rare's golden days of developing games. That's it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and sub, and follow Project Gamer on Twitter for channel updates. I'd love to know what your favourite game from E3 was, even if it's not featured in this video, so be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next video.